Well, you have to test that again and again to see if maybe today it could run here again on the ID. The ID is always a super rare fish here, especially at Mosquito Lake, and you need it if you want to finish the Honorary Fisher. And we'll just try that now. And there goes definitely something really big in. Maybe it is a carp, possibly, or maybe it is a big ID. I am extremely excited what has just bitten here right now. So, definitely a fish that is already really strong again. Yeah, ID at Mosquito Lake is and remains, over all these years, always a difficult fish to catch. And because it is so hard to catch, you just have to test it again and again. Also here at this spot, test it again and again. There are different spots. There are also different places in the Discord where you can catch ID quite well, and also different possibilities. One possibility you can see right here, that is the one I'm using right now, and that is insects. And here now the cricket. The cricket seems to work quite well. I have already caught the first idids, and therefore we'll see if maybe even the trophy goes in here. That would be quite nice. I'll gladly take that. Such an ID trophy is not bad at all. ID anyway is an extremely rewarding fish, and I wish there were more ID spots because in terms of size, it is basically a fish with about 4 kilograms trophy weight that you could fish really well in the mid-game. But unfortunately, the ID, despite everything, is quite rare. And there are not so many waters, especially in the mid-level area, where you can fish it very well. And yes, accordingly, you can of course be happy if you even find an ID spot where you can catch it regularly again. That is always a bit difficult. Yeah, and here, as I said, at Mosquito Lake, ideally you catch it at some point as a trophy. So at the moment, I must say, this could even become a trophy here, if this is a big ID. That would be something. Nothing this strong has gone in so far. That is one. Yeah, fantastic. 4.9 kilograms. That is really good. Almost 5 kilograms heavy ID. Insane. I'll gladly take that, of course. That is really nice. Beautiful fish. Nicely fished here, obviously on a fine setup. We will look at that in detail in a moment. So, 4.9 kilograms ID trophy here at the spot. Absolutely excellent. And the whole thing here at the spot from Discord, from Dimidin. He caught his ID here. 4.5 kilograms. That is actually already a few days ago, but it worked, also with the trophy. And Ghoster also caught his trophy here. That was the message from yesterday. So simply come here to Mosquito Lake, a classic spot by the way, 8787, a spot that works quite well again and again. Also here in the near area, for example for Eurasian roughy fishing. So you can definitely come here. So in this case, this is about ID fishing. And here I am at 18 meters out, 18 meters clipped. Well, the next one here, yeah, looks good. Not bad, but I think it is not super heavy. So, at 18 meters clipped with the classic ID groundbait mix. We will of course look at that again in a moment. Groundbait mix, at some point you should learn that of course. If you cannot do that yet, then simply do not fish for ID. Just go fishing somewhere else. For example, simply for Don Ruffy at Winding Rivulet. There you can just fish with the earthworm or with the compost worm, and you can easily earn 100 to 200 silver per hour without needing a groundbait mix. And when you eventually save enough silver and have skilled the groundbait mix, then you fish for fish like these here, where you need a groundbait mix, or for carp and such things. And until then, luckily there are the level 1 waters and the small fish with which you can still make silver really well. So what do we have here now? This one is not quite as strong in the fight, but still it is pulling quite well. Not bad at all. I will gladly take this too. Let's see how heavy it is. Maybe around 3 kilograms or maybe a bit more. Yeah, judging by the fighting behavior, that is fine. So it does pull away a bit. ID is quite strong in the fight. You notice it again and again when one bites accidentally. They can also bite on spinning. Oh, the next big one. Oh ho, I just have to hook it again. What am I supposed to do? If it is running, then you must test it and go for it. So, next trophy. Very nice. Directly back to the spot and directly casting again at exactly 18 meters. And you can see here quite nicely where the eye is right now. We see the reflection of the big tree, and in the reflection, I'm casting right where the eye is now. So right where the edge is, and exactly into this corner, I'm casting right now. So now we have one more here, and good, but no, I think the third will not be. A triple? That would be something again, but a triple this time it is not. That would be too much. Come on, be honest. So see, 1.8 kilograms can also be seen. So now let's take a look at the setups. This is what it looks like here right now. I'm using a small setup, simply with a #1 hook, cricket on it, 9.2 kilograms braided carp leader material, and then with the simple 20 grams lead, 12 kilograms line. The stuff up here is not really relevant. Important is down here. This is interesting for the scare effect up to the lead. So a brown lead, then a gray line, gray carp leader material. Braid dark is the line, 20 pounds. And I used it here now with 20 centimeters length, #1 hook, and cricket. You can of course also test the double cricket or the single cricket on match rod or Bolognese rod. That is also not bad. Also definitely a possibility. Yeah, all three rods, all three setups are built the same, completely identical. And then, as I said, cast out at 18 meters. And surprise, surprise, I did not use PVA. If you thought, well, of course with PVA, no. Just with the ID Groundbait mix, the one you can craft. ID Groundbait mix here, in ball form. I think I threw in 11 pieces. For that, I walked a little backwards from the position. And when we cast maximally, we see that we cast into this area. That means if we throw the groundbait balls fully, we throw about 20 meters out. Additionally, the groundbait ball has an effect radius of 2.5 meters, so the whole area is nicely filled with bait. And then you can cast with the standard groundbait mix 10, 15 times, and then the spot is nicely active. And then you can still check how long the groundbait mix has effect duration. And we see that up here. 13 hours, the whole thing works. And if you feed again after maybe 8 hours, that is not bad either. So original standard ID groundbait mix. You can simply check it under groundbait here. This is how it is built. It is already preset. And then you simply cast it out. And here it goes again. And the next candidate is on. Yeah, looks quite good. So, if you still need the Honorary Fisher, or if you need the ID here for the Honorary Fisher at Mosquito Lake, then go to the spot, get your ID. Many need the ID, or the perch, or the frog. Those are usually the candidates that are a bit harder to catch. All others are extremely easy to catch, but for those, you may have to invest a little more time, and then you have the Honorary Fisher at Mosquito Lake, eventually checked off. So, get to the spot, test, as always. And if the cricket does not work, then of course test other baits, so that you eventually check off the IDAS trophy. Other possibilities would be, for example, pea porridge or pea directly. That works again and again. And if you are here with a float rod and can already do double bait, you can combine it. So, pea with cricket, for example, double cricket, and so on. So simply test different baits. Yeah. So much about the spot. So, come here to the spot, just test it. If you feel like ID, if you still need it for the Honorary Fisher. Now is I think a good time for it. If this helped, leave a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, that helps me a lot. And then we'll see each other in one of the next videos, or maybe in a live stream. Until then, tight line.